Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today in this video, we'll see how to connect MySQL database using JDBC connector in Java. Or in other words, you can say how we can test database using a pure Java code. Or you can say like database testing in Selenium. But if I say database testing in Selenium, it will be the wrong title because Selenium does not have any library which will help you to connect with the database. But yes, I will show you the pure code through which you can directly connect with the database and you can fetch the record and you can test whether that record has been updated in the database or not. So what you will get after this video, so if you have any database installed in your system or if you have any database through which you want to connect, you can directly connect without any installation part. Let's say your company using MySQL, Oracle, MongoDB, DB2, there's so many databases in the market. So if you have any database which you want to connect, you can directly connect without any installation. But still, if you are uh, if you don't have any database in your system and if you still want to work with database, then I will show you the installation process. Then we'll create a dummy database, or you can say let's testing database. We'll switch to that database because by default it will not be in a particular database. So we'll switch from a default to the specific database. Then we'll create one table for our testing purpose. We'll insert some data inside that table. And this is the main part. We'll write a small piece of code and you will not believe we have only 4 lines of code to connect with the database. It seems a little bit tough, but if you start writing the code, you will see in just 4 lines of code, you can connect with the database and you can fetch the record easily. So these are the commands which we will be using to connect with the database. But first of all, let's go to the installation part. So in this demo, I will be showing you the MySQL part. So if you do not have any database, then you can download this MySQL database. Previously, I thought I will create a video how to install MySQL, but you have a very good article on wikihow.com where you can see the installation process. So this is the link from where you can download the MySQL. So if you navigate here, you will get MSI installer. So download this installer based on your system 32 or 64. I'm using 64, so I have installed this one. And how to complete the process, just go through this article, just log into your system, click on this download option. You will get as a zip file. So in this article, they have shown in a zip file, but you can directly run this installer as well. Once you unzip this, you will get this installer. Double click on this, you will get this next. Now here you need to select custom. Click on next. It will give you this option. So this article is little bit old, so you will get couple of more options. So select all and click on execute. So once you will get ready to configure, click on next. Again, click on next. Now this is the main part. By default, MySQL will install on the port number called 3306. But if you have another port which you want to mention explicitly, you can add here, but don't touch any default setting because it might create a problem. So let's keep it 3306 and you can select this as a server machine. This is like optional. This will be the default option. And yes, start MySQL at the startup. Every time if you want MySQL should start, you can select this. Otherwise, you can uninstall, uncheck this. Now this is again very important. You need to remember this password. So I will highly recommend to start notepad or a sticky note. So whatever password you are typing here, just keep a note of it because it happens so many times you will forget this password. So whatever password you're typing, just keep in a separate notepad because we need this password to connect with the database. By default, username will be root. Only password you need to change. Once you click on execute, it will take around 5 to 10 minutes and it will install MySQL in your local machine. So this part I will show you. So once you install this MySQL, just search for MySQL command line. So the version which I am using is 5.6. So I will click on this MySQL 5.6 command line client. It will ask you the password. So enter the password which you have given while installing the software. I have given Selenium. So I will type Selenium and hit enter. So we'll get this MySQL. So once you get this MySQL, you will get some default database once you install MySQL. So if you simple type show database, simple type show databases and hit enter, you'll get some databases which has been created earlier. So already you will get some default database. I have created another database called Mukesh. So if you don't have any database, so you can simple type, you can create a new, or I will simply, let's create a new one for this tutorial. So let's say create, so these are the MySQL command, create database Selenium. So query okay, one row affected. It means this executory has been executed successfully. So if you want to check, again run this command, show databases, you will get this Selenium one here. Now I want to work with this database. So I will write use Selenium. So you will get this database change. Now you are inside the Selenium database. So right now this database will be blank. So we have to create one small table. So I will be creating a very small table with one or two set of records. But if you have this database already in your organization, then you must be having different tables and different database. So make sure which database to connect and which table to use. Let's create a table. So syntax will be create table, now table name. So let's say table name I will give Selenium users. And now we need to specify which column you want and what will be the data type. So column name I will give like first name. So this will be the column name and type. So they have the varchar. Varchar means it will accept everything. So database also has so many default data types like number, string, and all. So if you are interested, you can quickly go and check like data types in SQL. So I guess you will get W3 school and tutorials point. So just go through this W3 school, you will get so many data type here. I will be using varchar. Varchar will accept everything. And 20 means 20 is the max limit. I cannot enter more than 20 characters. I want to capture the email as well. So the column name will be email. And again, this I will select as a varchar and 20. Hit enter. And you will see query OK, zero row affected. It means your table has been created. So now if you want to see simple type show tables, so you have one table called Selenium users. Now the last part, we need to enter some data into this. So I will type insert into Selenium user. And I will enter the data. So in double single quotes, I will say like first name is Mukesh and email I will give as mukesh@gmail.com. Okay, so I forgot one keyword called values. So you need to type insert into table name values and the data. So I have one red set of data. So let me enter one more. So if I write another, let's say Otwani and Mukesh Utwani@gmail.com, hit enter. Okay, so it says the character like total count has been exceeded. So let's give Mukesh1@gmail.com. So now two records has been updated. Now let's say if I want to see, I will say select star from Selenium user. So you can see I have two set of record that has been updated to the database. Now I need to verify whether this records has been updated or not. So whatever thing right now I have done, it's manual. Now let's say you have this kind of requirement. Let's say you are running a script, Selenium script. That script is registering a user. So if you take any example, Flipkart, Amazon. So when you enter, when you say create account and you enter certain details. So ideally these details should be affected in your database. This is what we need to test. So first part you will run using Selenium script, so that the script will create an account. Now second part of the script will verify whether this record has been updated to the database or not. So now we need to connect to the database. It's a very small piece of code. So let me create a fresh package here, and package name I will give database. So in this database package, I will create another class called connect MySQL. So you can use public static void main or testng, it's up to you. So better let's use, since we are running testng, so I will say public void test db. I will take testng at the rate test. So the first step that we need to do, we need to download a separate jar file called MySQL connector. So every database have one connector. So for MySQL you have a connector, for Oracle you have connector, for every database you have this connector. So simple type MySQL connector download. So it's a separate jar. So either you can download from their official site, but I love this java2s.com. So if I click on it, so you will get this. You have all these libraries. So library I mean by class interfaces which they have provided. So simply go and just download this zip file. So it's very small file, 384 KB. So once you download, you will get this zip file. You need to unzip this and you will get a jar file. I already have in this machine, so I will go to the Selenium folder, and so this will be the jar file, sorry, zip file. Once you unzip this, you will get this MySQL connector. Now we need to add this MySQL connector because I need certain libraries which will help me to connect with the database. So I will right click on it and I will say build path, configure build path. Okay, so I already have, but in your case you will not be having this. So again click on external jar and simply select this. Click on OK. So once you are done, now you're very close with the connectivity part. So we have a separate class in Java called class itself, and this class have one method called for name. So what it does, in this for name method, you need to pass the driver of the database which you want to connect. So as of now, we need to connect with the MySQL database. So you should remember the database driver. So for MySQL, you have com.mysql.jdbc.driver. Okay, so if you notice the last driver D is capital, so now you can easily guess it's a class. So simply copy this. Now you must be wondering from where we are getting this. So if you open the references library, and right now we added this MySQL connector, right? So now just search for this package first of all, com.mysql. So if you expand this, we have this package com.mysql.jdbc, and if you expand this, we have a separate class called driver. So here we go. So this is the driver which we want to load. So this particular step will load the database driver which will help you to connect with the database. So now it will throw you one exception, class not found exception, because we are dealing with class. So add throws, or you can use class not found exception in a try catch. So once you're done with this, it will load the driver. So what I will do, I will write a sysout statement just to cross verify whether the driver has been loaded or not. So I will say driver loaded. Once you loaded the driver, you are ready to connect with the database. So we have a separate class called driver manager. So now you can see one package here called java.sql. So this package already comes in Java. So this java.sql package will help you to connect with the database. So this will provide the basic service to managing a set of JDBC driver, and you need to mention the connection string. If you can read the description, it's fine. Otherwise, I will show you what is the connection string. So you need to call one method called connection get connection. So this get connection simply says like it will establish a connection to the given database URL. As simple as that. So, and you can see it is asking me, give me the URL in this format, JDBC colon subprotocol colon subname. So for MySQL, this is the connection string JDBC, then which database, so we have MySQL, then colon host name. Now this is very important. Host name means where your database is located. Right now we have installed in our machine, so I will say localhost. Port, if you remember while installing the MySQL, we have given port number as 3306, then database. So we have created our own database called Selenium users. So, sorry, the database name was Selenium. Username will be root and password which I am using is Selenium. So I will copy this connection string and I will mention over here. Everything will remain same, only some small change we need to do, like host name. If your database is located in another server or another machine, you need to provide the IP address of that machine. So in case if you have a database in another machine, you can give this. So I will use localhost. It means in my local machine, port number will be 3306. DB name, so database which we have created is Selenium. Username is root by default and the password is Selenium. So once you run this command, it will create a connection between the database, and you just notice here it is throwing you one SQL exception, because whenever you deal with SQL, Java will always throw you one SQL exception. So you have this option, use throws and try catch. So I will say add throws. And the good thing about is if you put mouse over here, it will say I will return you the connection. Then you can play with the database. So I will say connection. You can give a meaningful name. I will say con or any meaningful name. So now you need to import this. So put mouse over, and this is one of the most crucial parts. So make sure you are taking this from java.sql, because the connection is a very basic uh, name which you will find. So it is coming from MySQL JDBC and they have certain packages as well. So I will take from java.sql. So this particular statement, let me create a line number here. So line number 20 will create a connection to the database, and again I will use a sysout statement here called database, or I will say connection, or let's say connected to MySQL DB. Sorry. So now just run this piece of code just to check whether we are going in the right direction or not. So if you run your test, driver loaded, and you can see driver loaded connected to MySQL DB. Now once you are connected to the DB, you need to use this con object and you need to call one method called create statement. So what is the statement? So a statement is a separate interface in Java. So this statement will help you to execute any database query. So I will create object of, I will store create statement object into the statement reference. So now you need to import this again statement. You will get couple of options. So again, don't confuse. We will be using java.sql package. So now you get this object. Now you can execute any database query which you want. So if you remember, we executed couple of queries like select a star from Selenium user. So this is the query which I need to use. So I will copy paste it, hit enter. It will automatically copy in your clipboard. Now using this SMT, I will say execute query. And good thing about Java, it gives you the description of every method, what exactly it does. So it will simply say this will execute the given SQL statement and it will return you the result set object. So what it is, we will discuss now. As of now, let's execute this. I will say execute query. And if you put mouse over on it, it will return you the result set. So I will store this in a result set and I will say rs. Again, it will ask you to import, to put mouse over and import from java.sql. So now this results set have these records, whatever records you have. So as of now, you have two records, Mukesh at the Gmail, Otwani, and Mukesh at Mukesh1 at the gmail.com. So what exactly you will get this in RS. So you will get everything in a tabular format. So this is the internal architecture which I'm drawing. So you will get the record in this way. So now our approach is we need to fetch first row, then we will fetch the second row, and we will verify the content. Sometimes you need to verify whether this Mukesh is available in the database or not. Sometimes you need to fetch how many records you have. Sometimes you need to fetch whether if I delete any account from my application, whether that certain records are getting deleted from the database or not. So it totally depends which kind of query you are executing or which kind of requirement you have. So I will show you like how you can fetch the data. So once you execute this query, everything you will get in this rs. So now I will say rs dot has what is the method has next, or just let me check what are the methods we have. So rs dot next, yeah. So rs dot next, what it does, it will by default focus on the first set of record in your database. So if you say rs dot next, it will focus on the first record, and you can see the description itself. It will move the cursor one row from its current position. So I can write a while loop here, and I will say until all the records are not getting fetched, run this while loop. So while rs.next, by default it will focus on the first row, second row, and it will keep iterating until the complete row is not finished. So now rs.next, it will focus on the first row. Now you need to decide which column you want. Uh, so I will call one method called getString. So getString have two variations here. So first variation, it will ask you the column index. So as the syntax says, it will start with first column will be the 1, second column will be 2, and so on. So you can use this, and you can see one more method called getString, which will ask you the string argument. This is quite promising because here you can give the database, the table column number name here. So let's say I need to fetch first name. I will directly mention I need first name. So it will return you that particular record in a string format, and I will say first name. And if you want, I can print. I will say database record is, and I will give this variable. So as of now, what this code will do, it will fetch all the records from this particular table, and it will only print the first name from this table. So let's save test.ng test, and you can see it's giving the complete record. So it's fetching Mukesh and Otwani. So let me enter one more record. This time I will enter, let's say, Selenium, and this time it's 2. So now we have 3 rows. So if I run this code, you will see you will get 3 records now. And yes, it's giving you 3 records. Now let's say I need email addresses as well. So I will copy paste this code because this code is repeated, and this time I need email addresses. So I need to mention the column name. So column name is email here. I will directly mention email, and here we go. Let's run it. So you can see first record, second record, and the third record. So like this, you can connect with the database and you can fetch the data. You might have multiple scenarios like you need to verify the data has been updated or not, deleted, updated, delete the table, delete the database, and so on. So you can explore this area, but this code will help you to connect with the MySQL part. And as you can see, it's just 4 lines of code. First, you need to connect with the driver, then connect with the database with this particular set of string. Localhost will be the IP address. This will be the port, database, username, password. Create object of statement using create statement method. And finally, execute the query which you want to execute. It will return you in a result set interface. Then you can call this next method and this get string. So we are done with the, yes, we are done. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section or you can mail me at mukesh.vani@learn-automation.com. See you in the next tutorial. Have a nice day. Bye bye.